guys, Christian Harris here with another Sliptember video, and today I thought I'd dig into the cost of slip and fall claims and accidents as pertains to companies. So one of the big misconceptions that we see a lot, not normally at senior level but at local level within businesses that we speak with, is, well, it doesn't matter if we have a claim because our insurance will cover it. Now, of course, that technically may well be true, because if you've got insurance for public liability, for example, and there is a claim, then yes, your insurance company is going to pick up on that claim and cover some of the costs depending on the exact policy you've got in place. But actually, we need to think about the fact that many companies have self-insured retention on their insurance. In other words, they have a high excess which they've chosen. So it might be that if you have a claim, you as the company have to pay the first £50,000 of any claim, for example. So that's one thing. And the other thing we need to think about is, as we've touched upon, the uninsured costs. So your insurance doesn't cover all of your costs. We've got a couple of slides to illustrate this point. So first, let's think about that point around uninsured costs, hidden costs, for want of a better term. So the average insurance claim cost for a slip and fall in the UK is £10,000. But if you speak to the HSE, they talk about this concept of the accident iceberg. And what they say is that just like an iceberg where you only see the tip of it above the water, but the bulk is below the water, it's hidden from view, that's exactly the same when it comes to the cost of accidents. Now, HSE gives a range of the uninsured hidden costs that come straight off the bottom line to companies of between 8 and 36 times the insurance claim cost. So if you think about that for a second, if you've got a claim of £10,000, based on that HSE data, you've got some hidden costs which are not covered by your insurance of between £80,000 and £360,000 for every single accident. Now, we did some research here on LinkedIn recently, and we had about 150 health and safety leaders. We found a much tighter banding, which was between 10 and 12 times the insurance claim cost, but actually many were a little bit lower. So let's think about just something around that 10 times amount, which is £100,000. So you've got your claim of £10,000, but you've potentially got some additional costs coming straight from your bottom line of £100,000 on top. Now, all of a sudden, that attitude of, well, it's okay because the insurance will cover us, is thrown into a whole different light. And you start to see why that kind of lackadaisical approach is what's driving a lot of hidden costs. And if we can start to change mindsets around that, that can have a big effect on the bottom line. Now, thinking about the bottom line and trying to bring this to life for companies as well, I mentioned that many companies have a high excess on their policy, or what's called a self-insured retention. So if you think of your car insurance, for example, when you sign up for your car insurance every year, you have the option of an excess level. It could be £50 or £500 or £1,000, whatever it might be. But any single claim, anything below that excess level, you need to pay first. When we're thinking about commercial insurance, particularly for big businesses, they often take quite a high excess. And so for the average slip and fall claim being £10,000, often we find that this is actually coming directly from the bottom line of the company as well. So to try to capture some hearts and minds around this point, let's use an example here to illustrate what it means for a company to have to pay for a claim or an accident. So here we've got bunches of bananas, and this is a good example because it's something that we all can understand and resonate with. So if you're a supermarket, one bunch of bananas, the price for that is about £1.35. So your revenue for every bunch you sell is £1.35. your net margin is about 2%. Bearing in mind, you've got your all of your overheads, but also you're a reseller, not a manufacturer. So your net margin, 2%. That means that for every bunch of bananas you sell, you're making 2.7 pence of profit. So let's think about this then. If we've got a £10,000 claim and we've got to find £10,000 of net profit to pay for that, we need to sell, if you do the maths, 370,000 bunches of bananas to make £10,000 of profit to pay for one single accident. And remember, that's just the insurance claim quantum, the insurance claim cost of the accident. It doesn't cover all of the other costs as well. Because if we extrapolate out and we say, well, actually our true cost of this accident is £100,000, we've got to sell 3.7 million bunches of bananas to make £100,000 of profit to pay for the cost of that one single accident. Now, this calculation is a great way of considering the real cost of accidents in your business and trying to get the culture of the business aligned to risk management. Everybody understands how much time and effort is put into sales of whatever business you're in, service, product, whatever sector you're in. Everybody understands sales, everybody monitors sales, everybody is driven by sales within the business to some extent. What would happen if people put as much drive and as much effort into prevention of accidents and the reduction of costs and the control of losses as they do to sales? That's an interesting question for us to ponder. So if you'll excuse the pun, given we've used bananas as an example, I hope that's given you some food for thought. It's a really valuable exercise for you to undertake in your own business. And based on experience, it is a really powerful way of getting that message across to colleagues of how exactly costs of accidents, costs of claims, over and above the human costs, just the financial costs do materially matter, and you can relate them to whatever it is you do, product, service, whatever it might be. But that brings it to life for people, and it's a good way of getting people more and more engaged in trying to be preventative rather than reactive, in trying to reduce costs upfront rather than waiting until you've spent all the money, you've suffered the losses, and then trying to deal with it in hindsight. As always, hope that's been useful. Thanks for your support with Sliptember. We're getting a lot of momentum behind this now. We've had huge amounts of engagement on social media, which is fantastic. Lots and lots of people keen to win a free slip test. So please do carry on giving us the support. It's really, really appreciated by me and the team. And of course, it's not just about us. It's actually about solving this massive, massive problem and helping the millions of people a year that are affected by slips and falls in the UK. Thanks, and see you soon for another video.